And this game actually is probably one of my favorites in terms of storytelling, because it actually... I have all the collectibles and stuff as always, by the way. So we're going to start with Chapter 1. But guys, this game, if I remember correctly, it takes place in, I believe, the early days of World War II, I want to say. Because they reference the United States quite a bit in this, especially towards the middle part of this. So I'm thinking... Let me actually see. Because it gives you a timeline. Oh no, this is World War I. Never mind. Sorry. At least I think so. Yeah, I think it's World War I. We're gonna say World War I. But I could be wrong. Anybody who, is a history buff can correct me. It's kind of sad that, I can't tell World War I from World War II, but I believe this is World War I. But, we'll figure that out together as we go along, guys, or I'll look it up afterwards. I probably should have beforehand. But this game focuses on a couple of characters. Well, actually, I'll let this tell its story.
A heavy-hearted Emile was called up to fight and left the farm for Samuel.
Oh, I forgot that. I forgot that that when you start a new game, it tells the whole story. But basically, you play as Emile, who's a farmer, a French farmer, and you're drafted into the French Legion. What's doubly sad, guys, is the fact that this game follows a couple of different characters. It follows Emile. It has the supporting character Maria, who is Emile's daughter, and Carl's, take two. Sorry guys, let me pause this for a moment so I can actually get all this out, because I don't want the game to interfere while I'm talking. But you basically play Emile. There's a couple of different main characters. There's the dog, who is pretty much like a sidekick or supporting character. Medical dog. There's Freddy, who's an American. There's Emile, who we're playing as now, who's a French farmer that was a French or Belgian farmer who got drafted into the French Legion to fight the war against the Germans. There's Carl, Emile's son-in-law, and his daughter Maria's husband, as well as his grandson Victor's father, who got drafted into the Germans. There's Anna, who was a Belgian exchange student who is working to becoming a veterinarian, and she ends up becoming a combat medic. So you got all these, and you have the main antagonist of this is Baron von Dwarf, as well as the entire war itself as the game goes on. And it's a very sad and tragic game, guys. Like I said, you'll see as we go along. But basically, Carl was drafted to the Germans. Emile, right now, is being drafted to the French Legion, and surely afterwards, hopefully in this episode, we will meet Freddy. And every character has their own arc in this game. For Emile, it's trying to find his son-in-law Carl. For Freddy, it's getting revenge for his wife. You guys will figure that out as you go along. You guys will figure that out as you go along in this game. But this is a fun game, guys. It's not... There's a couple of challenging trophies that I almost literally lost my head over. But this game tells a very sad story. So what I'll do is I'll play through this. I mean, I'll talk every once in a while, but I want you guys to see the story. I will...
My dear Marie,
I will skip
The atmosphere here is strangely cheerful.
Sounds like Russell Crowe, don't it?
Rely on our neighbors for help. They've always been gracious and charitable people.
I really hate to do this. I really do hate to do this, guys, because I know you want to get a lot of the story. Hey, there's Freddy. I know you guys want a lot of the story, but I'm skipping the cutscenes for, you know, aesthetic purposes. I'm skipping the story for aesthetic purposes, just because I don't. Oh, there we go. I'm skipping the story, guys, just for aesthetic purposes, because I want you guys to be able to experience this story on your own, or you can find like other walkthroughs on YouTube that shows just specifically the cutscenes. But I wanted to play through this. There we go. But I wanted to do a regular playthrough for you guys, just so you guys would be able to, so that you would kind of be able to, I'm trying to think of the word, I guess appreciate the game more if I cut out the cutscenes. Because the cutscenes, while short, I don't feel like they're a necessity to actually playing the game, if that makes sense. I'm sure some of you are like, well, Steve, we kind of want to see the cutscenes. Well, Emil and Freddy meeting. I'm trying to cut corners, which I know a lot of you guys don't like.
August 21st, 1914.
I know a lot of you guys don't like that I'm cutting corners, but I'm only cutting corners just for the purpose of I don't want this episodic series to be like too long, because it's going to be long enough, guys. Even without the cutscenes, this game still is going to take a while, because there's a lot of puzzles and a lot of stuff in this game that there's Baron von Dwarf. I mean, if you guys want the cutscenes, you can probably go on YouTube and look up like all the cutscene parts of this game. But just for my playthrough, the playthrough that you guys are watching, I'm gonna skip all the cutscenes and all the unnecessary like scenes that I kind of want you guys to experience on your own, or maybe you can look up and see it for yourselves. But as I said, this is not a happy game. This is a very sad game. This game talks about war, guys. I mean, yeah, it's a game, but it's very emotional towards the fact that it does deal with war, and it deals with a lot of themes that tie into war. Themes that tie into war and whatnot. Also, it talks about history. Emil is now captured and going to a POW camp.
Freddy. Original.
And now we're playing as Freddy.
It was at the Battle of the Marne that Freddy finally...
And in this game, believe it or not, guys, everything that you're seeing, these are all actually... I mean, the characters themselves are fictional, but all the battles and locations and everything, these are actual battles from the war. I mean, this is made by, I call them Ubisoft France, because it's mainly made by a French development team. But this guy's... I'm telling you, this is a game that, as you're watching it, you're going to be like, well, okay, Steve, what's so... You know, it's like, well, okay, Steve, you know, war is a sad thing. War is something that you never want to deal with. And anybody who... Whoops! Did not mean to get killed there. But anyway, as I was saying, you know, war is such a thought, it's such a sensitive subject for some people, but the thing about war as well is, if you're somebody who grew up in a military family like I did, you know, it's a lot more impactful because you think about the members of your family who, you know, served and ended up blow the bridge here. And you think about the members of your family who served, but you also kind of think about, even if you're somebody who didn't grow up in a military family, you know, you kind of think about, you know, the people that you do know whose family members, you know, were in the military and served. It's not... War is not pretty, guys, is what I'm basically saying. War is not meant to be pretty. You know, it's very sad, it's very cold, and it's very emotionally draining for those who have, you know, family members that serve and, you know, put their lives on the line. I mean, case in point, you know, people who have family members that, you know, are fighting the fight in Iraq or Afghanistan right now. Oh, I can't skip this. There we go. But anyway, and you can't beat up these guys, by the way. I always laugh at that because it's so overly dramatic and like 80s action movie-esque. But this game kind of gives you a little bit of a perspective of what the war was kind of like, you know, back then. Kind of makes you, for those of you who are young, kind of makes you think about, and of course, you know, Carl and Emil reunited with one another.
Dearest Papa, we live in a climate of uncertainty. Germans use the people of Saint-Mihiel as human shields against the French bombings. I hope the Germans treat you well, and that your wound is healed. Your grandson sent you kisses. I sent you a picture of him. All my love. Please write soon.
But anyway, I figured out at least like show that scene. There's a couple of cutscenes, guys, that I will try to show you guys. Oh, wrong one. No, that's for the wieners. There we go. Now I got it. The puzzles in this game are not challenging, guys. They're just you got to use your head a little bit. A lot of trial and error. And there's the dog. Almost forgot to mention the dog. We live in, I mean, I think some of the more younger viewers, or a lot of you guys watching, and a lot of my friends that are watching, will probably not too much understand maybe what this game entails. I think that's kind of the beautiful part of this game. It doesn't need dialogue, honestly. I mean, if this game was completely dialogueless, if it was completely dialogueless, there we go. For some odd reason, that was a tongue twister. You know, I probably would have. Yeah, I'm trying to find the words, guys. For some odd reason, I am not able to speak today. More so than I usually do. A collectible is actually right there, so I'll... Collectibles right there and there. Show you guys at least where a couple of the collectibles are. Hello there! I actually just realized somebody commented on the stream. Sorry about that. I get wrapped up in my own thoughts and I don't pay attention. I really kind of don't want to make an attempt at trying to pronounce your name because I'm horrible at pronunciations. So I don't want to butcher your name, but hello. Actually, I'll probably go on for a little bit longer here, guys, because I don't. My plan with my plan on making this an episodic episode. Oh wait, hold on. See, this part always gets me a little bit because even though I've played this, because I originally actually played and beat this. Oh, there we go. Now we're switching to Freddy. I originally actually played this on Xbox. I played this on the 360 before it got ported to new gens. So it's kind of one of those games that I know what's going to happen, but it still kind of gets me a little bit. Yeah, we're moving forward as Freddy. It's such a great game, and it's such a great story in general. It's a very emotional story. As I said at the beginning of this stream, if you're somebody who has family that has served, in the military, regardless if it's in the U.S. or anywhere in Europe or the UK. It's just in general, this game taught, kind of what I think would help you understand maybe your. Oh, had to make sure I gave him the right one. move you actually all the way over here, so that way I can get this one out the way. So we need to grab a 3-1. Is that 3? Nope, that was the 4. This is the 3. There we go. Now we got them all. Yeah, I held a vote, guys, on Twitter, but apparently nobody voted in between the 4 games that I kind of displayed, but I'm okay with that.
Merci, mon ami. Tout règle.
No. I mean, this is one of the few parts where even though I know what happens, it still is a little emotional to me, guys, because like I said, war is not easy. War is not an easy subject to reach. Well, I mean, I'm looking at the time, guys. I could go for a half hour. I kind of went a couple of minutes overtime because I wanted to actually finish that segment. So what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to stop the episode right here. So we'll pick right back up.